Do you think this will really be a landmark case?
I think so, because, it affects so many thousands of people and perhaps even millions of people, because by most estimates, there are 7 million undocumented workers in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Now, undoubtedly, a number of those may be actually a criminal element
mm-hmm.
that belongs in jail.
Mm-hmm.
But the vast majority of them are just workers who, they just are forced to buy a false credential
mm-hmm.
In order to be able to work so that they can survive and so that they can feed their family.
Right.
And that's all they're doing with it. You see, it's important to note that a lot of these people, all of the Postville, the 304 Postville detainees, were using either their own names. Most of them were using their own names. A few of them were using just made-up names.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really identity theft, because they were using a made-up Social Security number and their own names.
But sometimes that Social Security number belonged to somebody else. That was just by chance, right? It was
most Social Security numbers are occupied,
mm-hmm.
so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So that out of 297 who received who were charged, 270
mm-hmm.
Had matching numbers.
I see.
And only 27, what is that, 10%,
mm-hmm.
had numbers that happened to be vacant.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I called it in my essay on Postville, the lottery of justice.
Right.
If your number, if you were lucky enough that your number was a vacant number, you got just probation and
mm-hmm.
deportation.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, you went to jail.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly, the Supreme Court must have picked up on that same argument, because they said, hey, there's something wrong here. If the Social Security number that you happen to pick out of thin air belongs to a living person, then you get 2 extra years in jail. And if it doesn't, then you don't get that punishment. So they said you cannot leave justice up to chance. So that was one of the reasons that led the Supreme Court to rule unanimously in this case.
Do you think that this case will have some sort of role in terms of the U.S. Congress addressing some of our immigration issues?
I don't know that it will have that direct impact, because what it does is it's really a victory for the American justice system.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, now you have the punishment fit the crime, because it's not the same, obviously, to steal someone's identity in order to empty bank accounts, in order to charge on credit cards thousands of dollars and destroy people's credits and people's lives, than to buy a false document to be able to just work and make a living and support your family. Is two very different things.
Mm-hmm.
So in that second instance, where they just are forced to buy a false document to be able to work, the punishment is certainly not 2 to 10 years in jail.
Right. Okay.
It's excessive. So this is something, you see, unfortunately, the different, some U.S. attorneys were using this identity theft just to criminalize migrant workers, and it's important to realize that to come into this country illegally is not a crime; it's a civil infraction. And the penalty for that is deportation.
Mm-hmm.
Should they be deported? Absolutely. Yes, they should be deported. Mm-hmm. Should they be criminalized and put in jail as common criminals? No, because what they have done does not carry, according to American law, does not carry that punishment. So this is what this ruling has done. It basically has taken that axe away that was being used by some overzealous prosecutors against migrant workers, regardless of their nationality. Now, it is important to note also that many U.S. attorneys, many federal prosecutors, refused to use that identity theft charge even before the Supreme Court's ruling, because they understood that it was overcharging, that it was not fair. And like the Attorney General Holder has said, the job of a prosecutor is not to obtain convictions, is to do what is right, is to assure that justice is done. And so that's, this is really a victory for the American justice system. It has, in my own heart, it has restored my faith in the American justice system. A couple of other things that are part of the fallout of this decision.
Oh, okay.
Just very, very quickly.
All right.
Number one, the American Immigration Lawyers Association now is pursuing having the federal government, the Attorney General in particular, vacate the convictions of the postal workers.
Okay.
And of other cases that have been subjected to this identity theft charge.
Okay.
Without proper evidence, without proper foundation. So they're asking for a case-by-case review, and the meritorious cases should be overturned, and the convictions should be revoked.